So hello everyone, good afternoon. So I will start. Users means participants can continue to join as because it's time. So I do not want to waste in time, and I will start here. So the idea of this series of presentations is to aware people like business analysts, developers, PMs of various terminologies that we are using in our day-to-day life for our deliverables. That may be business requirement, it may be project charter, that may be some solutioning document that we are working on. It can be the estimation that we do, the effort estimation for any activities or for any change request or any project, or we are designing various dashboards. So basically the idea here for this was to create an awareness about what and how we can do, and the template we have to use at Exponentia. So we have few basic template that is available. So I will be sharing and walking you throughout the presentation. So here is the agenda that I have for the day. It's the BRD template. Then we have Exponentia business templates. We will go through a DAR methodology, that is dashboard design, analysis, and reporting. Then we have DDIT checklist. Then we have project plan, estimation templates, and the best practices for documentation and design. So this is how the flow will be. A brief introduction about myself. So I had joined Exponentia in April this year. So since then I have been managing a couple of projects like Magma, Heineken, few wings of Heineken, then Metropolis, and along with that I am also taking care of few of the requisition management. Then I have been involved in interviews, training, and then capability building. So that's about me. And prior to Exponentia, I was with Accenture. Prior to that, I have worked with a couple of other companies like Flipkart, Honeywell, Thomson Reuters, Ocwen. So I have around 13 plus years experience into project management, and I have been working into financial services, into supply chain, manufacturing domains. So that's a brief about me. Moving to the next. So I will talk first about BRD template. So BRD template, I am sure most of us will be aware of what is the purpose, why we are using. So this is nothing new, but a reiteration and rephrasing or creating awareness, and also a more detail about the aspects we should consider while preparing BRD in our day-to-day business and projects. So the definition, if we talk about, it's the detail, the business solution for a project, including documentation of customer needs and expectations. So what are the objectives of BRD, if we talk about, and why it is important? So BRD is basically the foundation for any subsequent project deliverables. Means we can talk about, means we will describe what will be the input, what are the associated outputs, what are the process functions that will be delivered, like it will be critical to quality, voice of customers. So BRD will basically describe what the system would look like from business perspective. It will distinguish between business solution and technical solution. So when we will be looking at, say, business solution, so what it should answer. So the BRD should answer what does the business want to do, what are the objectives, what business want to achieve. And when we talk about technical solution, so that should support the business solution. So the objectives, if you see, it will be around to gain agreement with stakeholders, provide a foundation to communicate to technology service provider what solution need to satisfy customer and business needs, to provide inputs into next phase for this project, to describe what not, how customer and business need will be met, and also to put things that will not be in scope of the proposed design or a solution. So I have a sample business template that I have created. So all this template will be shared with everyone post this presentation. So this is basically a guideline, like what are different section or elements or the table of content should be for a BRD. So on a high level, if we talk about, there should be a validated scope, like what is the scope of the requirement, what all the activities we are going to do, identifying any changes, what are in scope, what is out scope, the requirement that will be developed. So this will be things. Then again, it should BRD, when we talk about, it should highlight the impact systems that will be impacted, people, process, technology, material and supplies, facilities, product, machinery, equipment. So basically, it should touch through all these processes and function for the impact assessment. So this is just the TOC that is there. Means if I can, means, also I have a sample that we can just have a look. I mean, this was one of the BRD that was prepared for our work hard projects by the OCAR team. So here, if you see, it has a document revision history. When was the revision done? Who was the author or editor who reviewed this? When was it reviewed? What were the comments? Then we go through various references, acronyms, and abbreviations that are used in the document. What is the overview, the key functionality, data sources, functional requirement, non-functional requirements. So basically, means it should cover all the aspects of a. So I will not go in detail. If you, means the template will be shared with you. So if you have any questions, you can note down, and we will discuss all the questions and we'll clarify at the end of this presentation. And post that also, if you have any doubt or any clarification or any other ideas, we can discuss anytime offline. So moving to the next is basically the DAR, this dashboard analysis reporting methodology. So this is one of the white papers that was published on Click community. So means we being Click partner, so I thought to make it more wider and for adapting everyone the most recommended solutions here. So the dashboard page that gives most important information has least amount of interacting and clicking. So this will be mostly for users to scan the status update. Like, so what is the purpose of any dashboard? To give us the key KPIs, the key performance indicators. So when we create dashboard, so the idea here should not be to put everything in that. The idea should be to put the most important and critical KPIs and status indicators that user or business may be interested in. So what to do? So I have few points that are more of a guideline. It's not mandatory that should be, means again it will also depend upon business needs and user requirements. So like on a dashboard, the information should be general and high level. There should be few KPIs. It's not that you present all the KPIs on the dashboard only. So means better categorization and classification of KPIs is also important. Maybe you can give few filtering options like dashboard is at an organization level. Maybe you can give few KPIs at organization level, and then you can give drill down or switching options for say sales, finance, operations, and other things like that. So basically, you should give the filtering options, and also you should create a hierarchy of information that will make users easy to information. Example.
Hello.
So this is just a sample I have said. It's a search engine. So here, if you see on the top, you can see core matrices, right? Cost per click, cost per conversion, sales per conversions, champion and challengers. And in between, you can see the conversion analysis. So there you will see the impressions at the top. So that is approximately 2.5%. Then below you have the number of sessions, and then how many sessions are getting conversions. So from 2.5, you can see it's coming down to 1.33. On the right side, you see the inbound search queries. What are the searches around? Then at the below, you can see weekly performance of the impressions and the conversions by time and weekdays. So this is just a sample. Means this is not any. Means we can see. Means you can Google more for such samples, and you can use the best ways and ideas to develop your own dashboards and creativity. So the next is analysis. So when we talk about analysis, so analysis pages are more interactive. They will help users explore their data, look for answers to questions they may have found on dashboard pages. Analysis pages are where you come to spend more time and interact with the application on a deeper level to explore the data. So this will be more of an exploratory, and people will click, drill down, they want to see the details. So typically here, each page has to be part of its business in exploring and specific technical objectives, like say comparative analysis, or they want to do roll-ups for at different hierarchy levels, or they want to from say overall level to a regional level or a city level or any business classification. So what to do here would be additional filters or list boxes or drop-down boxes. Then the information on every page about means you can divide the screen into multiple topics and themes, and accordingly you can place the information you want to do. You can create a vertical scrolls in the pages if it is required. You can introduce more charts and tables that as the business needs may be. So here I have taken one of the sample. So here you can see on the top, you see the sales versus previous years, then margin versus previous years, units sold, again it's compared to previous year. So that is the usual comparison that we see, sales per unit. Then below that you can see the trends for last 3 months. On the right side, you have various categories into that, the sales for this year as compared to previous years. At the bottom left, you can see by various product brands or product classes. On the right side, you see information about the performance of various product subcategories. So this is how means again the placement is, there is no guideline for that X should be on the top or Y should be on the down, but again it depends on the business needs and the stakeholders agreement. Moving next. So this is the third and last part of the DART methodology, and reporting pages will give you more granular information, a lot of tabular data that will actionable data, right? That will like what is the issue, who is the owner of the issue, when is the due date. So all the such kind of information you can put it here. So what here you can do is like give the most granular information possible. Means again it will depend upon if it is a transactional or a summary at some level. It can be a branch level, city level, as the business may need at various cost center level. So this will be basically give users an ability to see every detail that they might be interested to take any actions. Like if we talk about quality, then what was the issue with the quality, how many rejections were there, what was the disruption it caused, what was the impact, the priority assessment of those disruptions. So like that we can see about. So here if you see, I have taken a sample of a supplier compliance state. So you can see there is on the dashboard clearly shows how many suppliers, 804. So that's the universe. So 60% it shows contracted, 39% unlisted. In that again you have classification of based on the partnership with the suppliers. You have gold partners, silver partner, bronze partner. Means many organizations use many. Even you would have come across words like diamond partners. On the right top corner, you can see total spending and you can see 5-year trend. So that gives you an idea where the business is heading. Similarly, for savings, you can see the current saving figures, and then you can also see what the trend has been in the last 5 years. So now moving to the next. So business analysis. So I have basically listed a simple steps what ideally it should include. Like so when you talk about any business analysis that you undertake or requirement gathering, so what step is like get yourself oriented about it. Then you discover the primary business objective, what you business want to achieve. Then step 3 would be define your scope, what we want to do. So when we define our scope, it should also say what is not in scope. So that should clearly highlight what is in scope, what is not in scope. So once you have the scope defined, then you can formulate your business plan, means how you will go ahead with, define the detailed requirements, what will be the technical requirement, functional requirement, what will be various high level design, low level design, assist system and future states. Then next step it will be like support the technical implementation, like what all it may be needed, the infrastructure requirement, the resource requirement, then it can be any requirement or anything to do with environment or resource availability, say security requirement, or even some requirement that might be related to process or people. Then once we have the technical implementation, then step 7 will be help business implement the solution. So how this solution will be put in place, like, so we need to plan for service introduction. So the user need to be trained, the customer support or the support teams need to be briefed about what are the changes in the system, how to respond to queries when customer comes up, how to navigate, where to go to source for information, what has changed in comparison to the existing process, who are the people who need to be contacted in case of the subject matter experts. So the business flow. And the last step would be to assess the value creation. Like we have gone through all these steps. So what is the value that we are creating to the business or to the people or to the customer end of the day? So what are the tangible deliverables from this? So here I have listed few of the checklist for any BA to work on. So here the checklist would be like, one is general, where you need to see the names you provide should be unique. It should reflect the functional role and the purpose of the use case. It should include all relevant actors, avoid ambiguity, omission, and it should be precise, accurate, and complete. Then the preconditions. We should explicitly mention the state of the system when the use case begins, including the data that must exist as well as data that must not exist, capture valid business situations. Now, talking about the basic flow, so it should be consistent, compliant with relevant business rules. It should include only information that is relevant to the use case. It should include no references to other use case that include this use case. Means it should be unique. There should not be overlap or duplication. When we talk about references, name, so there should be properly alternate and exception flow for appropriate points that may be required. References for non-functional requirements that are specific to use case less applicable. We need to use the suggestion or the recommended approach is that we use the actor names instead of pronouns. We should avoid adverbs, adjectives, pronouns, synonyms, and negatives. We should use present tense throughout the documentation. We should avoid use of design terms such as user interface design or data design terms, including but not limited to, like say button, click button, screen, record table, database, process, and other. So basically, so these are few guidelines how you should approach when we are talking about when we are creating our documentation. It should not include technical jargon and technical terminologies, and if it is included, then there should be appropriate abbreviation and explanation at the end in appendix or wherever it is placed in the document. So now I will walk you through the DDIT template that we have and the checklist. Okay, so this is a sample document how a business requirement or a business analysis document can be prepared. So like it is suggested that you have an introduction sheet where you will mention what is the project name, what is the dashboard name, what's the purpose of this dashboard, what are the questions the dashboard will answer, who are the users for this dashboard, who has developed this dashboard, and who has reviewed the dashboard. So these are basic information. Means these are few of the information I have put. It's not limited to. You can put other things as well, like who is the business sponsor. Then you can also mention the date when this went live. Then the terminology is used in the document. It should be documented in detail. Means I have given a few of the examples here. Then we talk about KPIs here. So basically all the KPIs should be listed here. Whatever we talk about, so whatever the business needs. So all the KPIs should be in detail. Like when we say talk about the functions, so say it's KPI, a sales function has a KPI volume achievement. Then what is the definition of that volume achievement in percentage? Then various releases that is associated with it, how it will be calculated, the business logic, the actual formula, what will be the sources of information, the database, table name, field name. Then we talk about what will be the frequency of update. It will be daily, monthly, quarterly. Then again, when we talk about various time variants for KPIs, so how that KPIs will be monitored or captured. So it can be say MTD, month to date, last year same month MTD, yesterday MTD, last 3 months average, last 12 months average, last year same 3 months average. So there can be multiple terminologies based on business needs and requirements from stakeholders. So all these time variants that need to be captured need to be agreed with the stakeholders. Then when we talk about KPIs, there should always be a rank associated with it. Any KPI, when it will be read, what will be the criteria for it to be in amber, what will qualify for it to be green. So all this should be clearly documented and defined. And if there are any exceptions, so that should be noted clearly. Then if there has been change or there is some change in logic or something, so historical horizon, Then granularity, basically at what level that KPI will be at a branch, region, cluster, customer, product, channel. It can be country, geography, again depends. Then we can talk about security levels, user security levels, who can access these KPIs. So it will be means required or not. The users security as per hierarchy, something that a zonal or regional manager or a national manager or a vice president may have access to, and something that may not be access to the lower and at a branch manager level or at a FO level, field executive level. Then the look and feel, the visualization, any dashboard or KPI we talk about. So how it looks and how it's presented on the dashboard. So these are various elements that need to be looked for and documented clearly. Then the validation part, right? For each report, each KPI, how it will be validated, who is the spoke or owners for each, all these levels of documentation at each for all the KPIs we need to have it clearly documented. Then let's after once we have KPIs available, then we can see what all dimensions we might be needed. So dimensions means dimensions I have given here what all it may be needed. So we also need to document the facts and the measures that will be required. Then talking about various fields that may be needed. So again, the data source, table name, data field, is it mandatory, needed or not, where it is used, the KPIs, the dimensions, is there a need for a data cleanup requirement or activity, how much data is available, is it available. So all this kind, the nature of basically of each field need to be documented and get it clarified. So once we have KPIs, dimensions, field level information, then we can move to the testing part. So testing here, it will have multiple dimensions, right? Starting from unit testing to system testing, integration testing, UAT testing. So all KPIs and all the aspects of the requirement should be tested thoroughly. It should be all the use case must be documented and tested for its failures and pass. And then any remark or exceptions that is there for that, those should be documented. Moving to again a UI QA checklist. So these are various samples. Again, I have listed it can be, this is not the entire sets. So that will again change from project to project, client to client. Then various checklists for deployment. So various level of accesses, the locations, the servers, the credentials. Okay, so moving to various dashboards elements. So what are different dashboards elements? Say there is a daily dashboard, a monthly dashboard, analytics dashboard. What if there is any what if activity included, segment view including with drill downs. We need to check for the time dimensions, the business drivers analysis, benchmarks, trends for KPIs. So these are few samples I have mentioned here. You can also include, there are many other things that are needed and very important, like you have to create the traceability metrics, then you have assumptions should be clearly highlighted and defined. So basically these are various thoughts. Not there will be many other things that can be included, and this template can be built upon more extensively going forward. So this is just a start. To start with, these are the three a kind of, we can start with this and we can build more on this as that may be needed. Coming back to the PPT, I think we are running out of time, so I will move quickly. So these are various checklists that a business analyst need to check, like the alternate flows, if there are any exceptions, then any conditions that may need to check in as a systems or in future system, then other activities. Moving to project plan. So I have listed few steps, means again that can be defined based on various phases of project management, like planning, initiation, monitoring, control, and then closure. So here is the step I have mentioned is like more of understanding the scope and the value of your project plan, conduct extensive research, ask tough questions, create your project plan outline, talk to your team, write your full project plan, execute your plan in team, publish your plan, share your plan with team, and make sure everyone is aware of what it is. And keep planning. Means planning is an unending exercise. So again, I have project planner. I have a template mentioned here that is more of a guideline. I mean, project plan again, it can be altered to need. So like I have an index here, like project detail, project task planning, project monitoring chart, issue logs. So again, here we can include few more things as it may be needed, like assumptions, RACI matrix, you have traceability. I mean, depending upon the need and track, means you can include the escalation matrix or escalation chart. So here we have project details, like at the project name, when the project will start, what is the estimated end date, who is the project manager, the project team members, the holiday and time of schedules, then the governance model. Talking about the planning, again at the task level, the WBS, the estimated date, the completion, who is the owner for each task, who is involved or engaged from the client side, the remarks, if any. Then we have the task monitoring, each task, who is the owner, when it was actually started, when it was completed, any comments, if any. Then the issue logs. Issue logs are basically, again, this is not the entire set, means again, if you see, there need to be a risk register, there need to be various other things that is may require. Again, here I would like to go slightly on various estimation methods that can be used. So there are many methods. These are few popularly used methods that I have listed here. One for estimation is like expert judgment. So this is probably the most common way people get an estimate. Means you can talk to people who had worked previously on similar projects and similar requirements. Talk to them, understand the need to be delivered, and try to find out from experts who will actually be working on the projects. So based on their experience, based on how people have been working on similar projects, estimation can be arrived at. The next method is comparatively or analogous estimation. So here what is done is it's generally used at the start of the project when not much is known. Compare the current project with the past similar project. A quick and relative is method of estimate, and although it's accurate. Then parametric estimation. The estimate is more of a quantitative base, such as dollar per square foot or number of installations per day, or again it's relatively simple method, but not every activity or cost can be estimated quantitatively. Then we have 3-point estimation. Accounts for uncertainty associated with estimating by determining the best case, most likely, or pessimistic. So here the formula that is used is plus 4 times the most likely plus pessimistic divided by 6.
Hey, guys, can we request everyone to please be on mute?
Moving to the next one is bottom-up estimation. Okay, so moving to the bottom up where we talk about there is a significant detail about every activity, then we can create a detailed assessment of the resources, the capabilities, and amount that can be used to determine accurate duration of cost or projects. So this is most accurate method, but also most time consuming and expensive form of estimating. So I have an estimation template that is again for a sample. So here we have few like particulars, basically description, what will be the deliverables, who will be the owner for that, what will be duration, if there is any unit, then the PM involved, PA involved, developer. So multiple columns of information we can present here. So like for example, if you talk about the business requirement provisioning, so to provide the requirement in terms of KPIs, benchmarks, dashboard analysis. So what is the, well here it's the BRD document. So who will be doing that is the SPOC, BA or PM, whoever is doing. So accordingly the time need to be mentioned here. So similarly, we have other aspects like wireframing, we have data mapping, we have data modeling, visualization, standardization. So multiple factor. Again, this is not a, depending upon the project needs and the requirement, things can be omitted or other items can be included. Then we have some change request process and format. These are for reference for team to use going forward. So I will not go in detail. If you have any questions, you can ask. So I have now listed few of the best practices that we should be doing, like there should be a data model, there should be a data flow diagram, build a source integration layer, then adopt a recognized data warehouse architecture standard, consider adopting agile data warehouse methodology, means go for ELT over ETL, adopt a data warehouse automation tool, pick up a cloud base. So these are the best practices are recommended, but again it will depend upon client to client and availability, the resource at disposal. So that's all I had. Now I will keep it open for questions if there are any. So you can directly ask questions, or you can put it on chat, or you can reach out to me anytime. I have mentioned my email address, mobile number, and Skype ID.
So do we have any questions?
So if there are no questions, we can wind up for the day. Means I expected it to wind up for 40 minutes. So I think we are on time.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining.
Everyone. It was nice.
We'll share the presentation and the recordings with you. So thank you so much.
Thanks.